Hi everyone, this is the first video in a series of tutorials about the QuakeDJ Visual Loop Producer app. In a nutshell, the QuakeDJ app will enable users of various experience levels to create short loop projects in beats and sync visual light shows to them that they can share with their friends on all their social media sites. Today's video is going to be a general feature overview showing you the various areas of the app, different sections, how to create projects and manage them, how to create loops, how to use the marketplace and other in-app purchase features of the app, and also how to save the visual videos and share them to your social media sites. When you first load the app, you'll see this page here, which will have three main buttons on it. New, which will create a new project. Continue, which will open up the most recent project that you had open. And a tutorial, which will go through a quick slideshow showing you the various features of the app and some general information how to use them. In the upper left is the Follow Us button, which will link you to all of our various social media sites. I recommend specifically, if you're interested in future tutorial videos about the app, is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We also post visual loops to Twitter, Vine, and Instagram most commonly, so I recommend those as well. In the lower left of this page, you'll see the Projects link, which will show you your various projects that you saved, and a My Gallery page, which you can view your library of saved loop videos. Now in the right, you'll also see messages, which will pop up telling you about various features and other updates about the app. When you first create a project, you'll see this screen here. In the main area, you'll see your instrument. This particular instrument is the beat maker. We also have another instrument called the pattern machine. There are 4 loops that you can create that basically layer on top of each other. You can create 4 different recordings together. A loop is a short recording that you can play continuously and it will just repeat. So you can create 4 loops in your project that will play together. Highlighted below are your loop slots. As I mentioned, right now we are viewing the beat maker loop and the pattern machine loop. You can also add 2 other loops to the empty slots. If you want to change the existing instrument, load a different sound pack, load an existing loop from your library, or download one from the marketplace, you'll click the Sounds button on the left. And you'll see this screen where you have a choice of changing the instrument. Now that will show you the beat maker, and you can preview the sounds. Or the pattern machine sounds, where you can preview those as well. If you'd rather load an existing loop from one of your projects, you click My Loops, and you can preview all of your existing loops sorted by your project name. If you want to favorite them or change the name, you see the favorite and edit buttons as well on the right of the screen. You can also preview the loop before you load it, and you select it just by tapping the area. So now I've loaded that drum beat into this project. When I played that loop, you may have noticed the counter below the loops area. Now that will count the 4 bars that I mentioned. That will be the left number. That will count up to 4. In each bar, there are 4 beats, and in each beat, there are 4 ticks. Since we currently have a beat loaded, I'm going to load a pattern into slot number 1. So I'm going to select slot number 1, which is empty, and I'm going to push the Sounds button and choose My Loops, and I'm going to choose one from my library. I'll actually pick this from the sample project that's included with the app, and here's a pattern here, so I'll select that. And now if I push play, both of these will play together. Now most loops will kind of fit together. Some will sound better together than others, but that's for you to just mess around with. Now if I didn't have any loops or I'm not feeling very inspired, I can also go to the marketplace. I push the Sounds button and click Marketplace. So if you happen to purchase a coin pack, you'll be able to download various loops from the marketplace, and you can preview them first. You can select the instrument that you're looking for, and you can also find new loops your favorites that you have selected as favorite. You can also download additional sound packs by selecting sound packs and specials, which there is a custom pattern maker upgrade, which I will show you in a second. So let's talk about the two different instruments that we have. We have the beat maker, which in general is used for drum beats, but we also have some sound packs that have other sound effects as well. If you're using the core drum sound pack that's included with the app, you'll find the kick drums near the bottom, the snare drums just above those. On the top, you'll find the hi-hats and the cymbals, and then in the middle, you'll find various sound effects and synthesizer sounds that you can add to your beats. The pattern machine is basically like a piano keyboard. You can press a note and the note will play. The octave buttons just above the keyboard will move you up and down the keyboard, basically to the higher or lower notes. So as you can see, I've pushed it up to octave C4, and that makes higher notes than the ones on C2. Up on top are the list of patterns. Now, patterns are used to play a series of notes without you having to do all the work. So for instance, you see the single dot pattern is selected right now. That means when you tap a piano key, that note will play one time. If you're using the two dot pattern, it will play twice, and so on. And these other patterns are a little bit more intricate, where they'll play a bunch of different notes. If you want the pattern to repeat automatically, all you have to do is press the repeat button. You'll see it's highlighted. Now when you press and hold down one of the piano keys, the pattern will just play continuously. So it makes it really easy for you to create a loop even if you don't have a musical background. Now you may notice something that might not be on your screen, and that is the custom pattern maker upgrade that I mentioned. When you press custom pattern, you'll see a grid. Now this is a grid showing different notes, up or down. Now I'm just going to push a bunch of these, and I'm going to deselect them because I know it's not going to sound good like that. But if you push play at the bottom, or preview, you're going to hear that pattern play. So you can create your own custom pattern. Now if I click OK, that's going to save that pattern to this project. Now if I really like this pattern and I want it to be loaded into every project, I can click Save as Default. Now of course you can change it in any future project as well, and it won't affect the pattern in this project. So now as you can see, there's a number 1 there, and that is the saved pattern that I just created. Now I have that selected, so now if I push the piano key, you'll hear that pattern will play on any key that I play on the piano keyboard. Now I can go up octaves and it'll play up there as well. Now if I want to edit that pattern, I can press and hold down the pattern button, or I can just click Edit and it will do the same thing. As I mentioned, we will be doing tutorials showing you how to create your own beats and patterns. You can also open up the sample project, which is included with the app, down at the very bottom. Now, as you can see, this will reset. So if you make any recordings to this project, it will reset completely the next time you open it. So if I play this project, you'll hear all 3 loops that are added into this project playing together. So you can see we have some kick drums and snares and hi-hats playing together. And we have the various keyboard noises, synthesizer noises playing in the other loops. If you want to listen to one loop only and mute all the other loops, press this button to the right of the record. Now when it has an X there, only the selected loop will play back. Now I'm going to turn it off real quick, and all the other loops will turn back on. Now they're off, and I can switch in between loops and listen to whatever loop I have selected. That makes it easy to edit a project or record additional sounds to an existing loop. The other changes you can make to a loop are at the top. You can change the tempo, which means speed up or slow down the playback of the loop. You can change some effects, which add delay, reverb, up or down the volume, or make it left or right stereo. The undo button, which will undo the most recent recording that you've made to that loop. And the X, which will actually delete the loop completely. So I'm going to push cancel. Okay, on to recording. I've created a new project here and I'm going to show you some of the basics. We will have a full video just on recording, which will show you more in-depth ways to create loops, and especially if you don't have a musical background. The most important thing about recording a loop is timing. You need to know your timing, you need to know where you are in the loop. Now, the ways you can tell that are two. One is the counter below, which I have shown you earlier in this video. The second are the play and record buttons. They will flash in time with the loop counting. So keep a close eye on the bottom. When I press record, you're going to hear a 1-bar countdown where you cannot play or record any notes. When that countdown is done, immediately after it ends and the next bar begins, that's when it will start recording the taps that you're making to the pads on the screen. So here's an example of that. I just press record, and as you can see, there was a 4-beat countdown, which equals 1 bar. Also, look at the flashing play and record buttons. Those are in time. They turn on or off each beat. Now, to stop recording, you can either press record, which will let playback continue, or press play, which will stop everything completely. If you want to practice, what I would recommend doing is tapping the screen each time the light changes on or off, because each time a new beat begins, that is a specific time in the loop. Okay, I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to show you an example of that. When I press the record button, you'll notice that every time the lights turn on or off, meaning whenever a new beat begins, I'm going to tap the hi-hat button on the top left. Okay, I've stopped tapping, now it's playing back, so I can actually stop the recording by pressing record, and playback will continue. Okay, so that's the first part of our recording, but I can add to that if I want. So by pressing record again, now what I'll do is every other beat, I'm going to press the kick drum on the lower left. Okay, that turned out pretty well. So now on the opposite beats, I'm going to press a snare drum. Whoops, actually messed up. So now what I'll do is, if I play that back, I'll notice I hit that one snare drum a little bit late. It was out of time. So I'm going to press the undo button, which is that circular arrow looking button up at the top. So I'm going to undo that, and now what you can see is now it removed all of the snare taps that I had just made in that recording. Let's try that again. Okay, got it that time. So now the beat is all in time, and I can continue to add other recording, taps to that. I turn the volume down a little bit. So now that that beat is all in time, I can continue to add other recordings to it. For instance, I could add a cymbal sound, I could add additional snare sounds, some sound effects, whatever I want to that loop. Okay, we've recorded our basic drum beat. If you don't want to go through all that trouble, or you're having trouble with the timing, as I mentioned, you can go to the marketplace, and there are some basic drum beats right here that you can download and add to your project, and then you can record additional taps to the screen on top of those loops. So you can buy some of the beginner drum beats and then add to them and make them, sound a lot better. So you can use them kind of as a template to start with. Okay, why don't we record a second loop to this project, and we'll be using the pattern machine this time. I have selected the pattern you see highlighted above, and I have repeat on. So basically what I can do is hold down a piano key while I'm recording, and it will just play continuously as long as my finger is pressing the key down. So what I will do is record a simple pattern. I'll hold down one key and maybe change it 1 or 2 times during the recording of the loop. Okay, here goes. Okay, that sounded pretty good. Let's listen to it. Okay, great. So that turned out everything is in time and sounds good. Now I could add additional recordings to this loop. I could add a lower bass noise. I could add higher highlights to it as well. Whatever, you know, just mess around with it and you'll have fun and figure out, you know, what kind of loops you like creating. So once you're happy with the recordings you've made to a project, this is where the fun really begins. You can add a visual light show that's synced up to the audio that you've created. Now push the Visualize tab below, and you'll see a bunch of different visualizations that you can choose. Now included with the app is this first one. These other ones are available with in-app upgrades. If you buy a coin pack, you can spend your coins to buy these visualizations. Now this one's my favorite. I'm going to use this one. And I've selected that, and I'll just push play. Now the project is going to play, and as you notice, the different sounds of the project are causing different lights to show up in the visualization. So let's say you've created your project, you've selected your visualization, and now you want to show the world what you've created. There are 2 different ways to do that. One, you can just save your project. If you click save and don't select any of these boxes, what will happen is this visualization will show up in your library, and you can access that library with this button to the left of your play button, the My Gallery. And you click My Gallery, and you can go through all the videos that you've saved. And this doesn't actually save videos, so don't worry, it's not using up your hard drive space. If you want to save that to your camera roll, just click Export to Camera Roll. If you want it to repeat twice, which is the purpose of a loop, it sounds better once you listen to it a lot, you also click Repeat Loop 2 times, and then you click OK, and then it will go through the recording and save it to your camera roll. Now if you want to share this, you click the Share button to the right. You can select Repeat twice as well here, and you select Instagram or Vine or email, whichever one you want to use and where you want to share it. Now there are a few of these that don't actually offer direct integrations, and what they will do is open up the website or app for you, and then what you'll have to do is just select the most recent video in your camera roll. So I'm going to go back to my gallery, and I'm happy with my project, so I'm just going to push play and I'm going to watch it play and enjoy what I've created. As I mentioned, we will be releasing future videos showing you how to use the more in-depth features of the app. But in the meantime, I hope this gives you a good start. By the way, don't forget to message us when you post your visual loops, because we want to see what everybody else is doing with the app. And don't forget to follow all of our social media sites, because you can see the loops that we're creating, and hopefully that'll give you guys some inspiration to create your own projects. So that is it for now. Stay tuned for more videos, for more in-depth tutorials about how to use the app.